Do your employees love what they're doing? Are they inspired and energized by what your company's mission and goals are and what we call the big S, which is what does success look like for the organization? I continue to reflect on several articles I've read that talk about love. And so here was an article in Time magazine that talked about, actually how your love life keeps you healthy. But what was underneath that article was the fact of the chemistry of desire. When we have a desire for reaching some set of outcomes, then our brain continues to stay engaged to figure out the how-to. And it's amazing how many employees and how many leaders that I talk to that probably come to work more because it's a job and it pays the bills and it pays their mortgage and whatever they need for their families to help them get the things that they think they want. But when that love is missing, when that true heart is not engaged in the work that they do, it minimizes the infinite creativity of the human brain. And it minimizes their capacity to get outside the box and create outcomes that they probably never even thought imagined. And here comes an article in a Sunday insert, Parade magazine. It again talks about the science of love. And yet how many of our employees, how many of our managers are willing to go back and talk to their frontline people to find out, do they really love their job? I think of when I check in at hotels. I do a lot of traveling and obviously get to experience lots of different hotels and have a couple of major hotels that I stay in on a regular basis. And it's always interesting to me is what the first experience is like when you go into a hotel, as to whether you get a smile and a pleasant greeting or you're walking in with somebody who's just there to just go through the motions and check you in and give you a room key and send you off. That same experience exists when you're a patient or I sit and watch patients coming into rooms being admitted or into the ER departments as to what they feel like and what the reception is that they get. As I just heard a patient recently say, I just don't like grumpy nurses. They just make me feel like I'm just not going to get the best care that I could possibly get. Or a front desk hotel person or guests in hotels, they say, gee, if I don't think the front desk person is the most pleasant or most positive, I'm not sure about the room they're just going to stick me in. Or in banking experiences, when you go to the window, you talk to a manager, do they seem like they love what they do and they're there to really serve people and customers, clients that come into it? And I was thinking of a recent podcast that I've listened to by Buzz Williams, who is the head coach of the basketball team at Virginia Tech. And that podcast started with him talking about the first thing he teaches and works with his players on, of loving one another. And this is a basketball team. This is college, NCAA. And we're thinking about loving one another as the first thing the coach is working on to get his players to perform at their best. So if Buzz Williams has figured this out in the college basketball world, it's time for us to figure it out in the world that we live in, be it whether in hotels or banks or any retail service industry, and get people to love what they do, be inspired to be their best, and therefore deliver the best outcomes. To get more on this information and how we bring that about, please go to the information that's included in this email, and I promise you are going to learn some additional things that are going to help your organization tap into the infinite thinking of the human brain of its frontline employees who deliver the day-to-day service to your customers, clients, and your patients.